On May 14, 2026, Elon Musk appeared in a federal database. Transaction 2026-1350. One line. No announcement, no press conference. Just a notice that the government had cleared his acquisition of a power company. And it wasn't Tesla. It wasn't SpaceX, not XAI. Elon Musk personally, in the manner of a guy buying a car or a boat. What he bought owns more than a gigawatt of electrical generation, enough to run an entire city bolted on trailers. The richest man on earth just solved the American power grid with a freaking trucking company. And he paid over $1 billion for it. No press release, no interview. The only reason you know is that a clerk in Washington was obligated to stamp a form. So hold that word. Obliged, obligated. We're going to come back to it. He did it because the grid had told them to wait 7 freaking years. The American electricity industry is now the DMV with a rate base and a lobbyist. And that is, as you're going to find out, the real enemy here, not a shortage. Shortages end. Somebody always gets rich, ending them. You're going to learn today that the enemy is a delay of 4 separate people who are paid to keep things going. 4 different parties, okay? 4 different incentives to screw you so they can make money. That delay is why your power bill is about to become a political event. And it's why the most obvious trade here is actually the wrong one. Must trade is not where I put my money today. I'll give you the filter that told me so. 5 questions, free, work on anything, and you can run it on whatever you're doing right now. 1 question, the whole thing turns onto it, and hold on to it, okay? What is America actually short of? I'm Charlie Garcia. This is Capital Mischief. I don't lie to you. I bring you the truth. I bring you things to invest in. I bring you things to make money if you listen all the way to the end. If you read the Substack, if you subscribe right now, you won't miss anything. Doesn't cost you anything, and it annoys everybody that's not on and is losing money right now, which hopefully is not you. We're going to start with Dominion Energy, which serves most of Virginia and the densest concentration of AI data centers on Earth. It's holding about 70 gigawatts of connection requests. That's the line to get literally plugged into the grid. If what you're plugging in is city size. Now, the number that matters, Dominion's all-time peak, all time. So we're talking about every house, every hospital, every Chick-fil-A in the Commonwealth. On the hottest afternoon ever recorded, it was 24.7 giga, okay? 24.7. The line is 3 times the building, and Dominion connects about 10 of these customers a year. 10. The average wait is 7 years, which the utility industry actually considers a brisk pace. Now, the honest caveat before somebody hands it to me is that 70 gigawatts of requests is not necessarily 70 gigawatts of real load. Why? Well, developers shop the same project to 4 utilities at once. So even if we have the 35 gigawatts against a 25 gigawatt system at 10 customers a year is still not a delay. It's the geological process, okay? Meanwhile, the company that Musk bought in Jacksonville says its trailers run in 60 to 90 days. Okay. Once in 15. That's the seller talking. No utility in America has disputed it. Musk looked at a 7-year waiting room, okay, till 2033. He folded the ticket and he bought the exit door. I'm out of here. And guess what? He's not the only one. So stop asking what stands between a customer and an electron. Ask who is paid to say no. Who is paid to say no? Let's start with the utility. It earns a guaranteed return on the assets that it owns. A pile has a name. It's called rate base. The commission approves the pile, the rate base. The utility earns on it. Bigger pile, bigger earnings. So, what is a customer who builds his own power plant? He's a customer you can't put in that pile. He uses your wires and he adds nothing you earn on. That's one. Now, the transformer plant, all right? Nothing runs without a transformer. And demand is up 41% since 2019. Now, lead times that ran 3 to 6 months now run 1 to 2 years for a freaking transformer, all right? And the big ones, oh, those take 3 or 4. And at a factory that cannot meet demand, it has no reason on earth to hurry, okay? So that's 2. Now, the county, the biggest industrial build out since the interstates, comes to a zoning hearing where a retired school teacher explains that, hey, she just moved to Boca Raton for the quiet, for Christ's sake. She costs the county nothing, and she votes in every election. That's 3, folks. And I saved the 4th because the 4th actually is the one that decides. The money. The project isn't financeable because somebody held the groundbreaking with a shovel, all right? It needs a credit rating. It needs a collateral package that survives contact with any committee. So the money is paid for the option to say no. And that option is worth more the longer it's held. 4 parties, 4 incentives. And not one of them points at speed, getting it done quickly. Now watch where the mispricing lives. A market prices what it can see. You know, the turbine is visible, so it's price. The transformer is visible, so it's price. But nobody prices the delay being permanent because the people causing it get paid for causing it. Now, let's talk about one eccentric billionaire buying trucks that you could ignore. This isn't that. Alphabet paid $4.75 billion for a power developer. It closed on the 10th of March. Its reason, it could now build generation in lockstep with its load, all right, which is corporate for the calendar is ours now, not somebody else. And the most heavily lawyered company on earth, and one man buying trailers on his personal account should tell you something. Same conclusion, same reason. They haven't stopped needing the grid. They've stopped letting it choose the date for them. Then this one, Brookfield and NextEra announced a $100 billion campus. Who funded it? Privately funded. And this is the funny part, on the Department of Energy's old uranium enrichment site in Kentucky. True. And the release discloses 3 power figures, up to 1.8 gigawatts of grid capacity, more than 1.2 gigawatts of compute. and up to 4.6 gigawatts of dedicated generation. The grid supplies only 1.8. The private generation now supplies 4.6 on a federal site. The utility is now the smaller of the two supplies. You can't make this up. And this is not a forecast. It's a press release from two public companies who don't appear to have noticed that they were making somebody else's argument for them. Nobody has put those two numbers together until now. I've looked, and let me tell you what I am seeing. 3 names came out of 6 months of that. 3. They're behind the paywall. So are the 3 excellent runner-ups that you can make money for the next 10 years compounding. And why I didn't put the number 2s as number 1. And I bought all of them before I published on Substack, before right now. And the price I paid is the price that existed before anybody read it. And on the 31st of December of this year, there's a public number that either proves what I'm telling you or kills it. And if it proves it, well, you won't need me to name these companies. You'll be reading about them with everybody else at that time at a price that already knows. Now, the 3 names might help you make a lot of money, but the 5 questions may keep you from losing it. The QR code on your screen right now, point your phone at it, take a picture, take a screenshot, all right? Go read it. These are the 3 best companies to own. Now, everything there is my opinion, my money, not investment advice. I'm not your advisor. Do your own homework. But the research is there, all right? So let's talk about what America is short of. It's not energy. This country pulls 111 billion cubic feet of gas every single day. It lights gas stations, chills supermarkets, and runs several million porch lamps, maybe your own, waging a war on the sunrise. America has plenty of energy. What it doesn't have is electricity in one specific place with the transformer, with the switchgear, with the permit, the fuel contract, the financing, the signed service agreement, and a date you can actually put on a board deck, okay? Not power on Tuesday. And here's why it doesn't get fixed. Bloomberg NEF counted the escape route. 114 gigawatts of on-site gas generation. 114 planned at data centers across 115 projects against 2 gigawatts operating today. So 2 gigawatts against us. All right. Crazy. 2 running, 7.5 under construction. So the rest is paperwork, and the paperwork is free. Now let's get to the arithmetic that should ruin your afternoon or whenever you're listening to this. So assume that the grid absorbs 7 gigawatts of new data center load a year. That would be an all-time record. It's never happened, guys. Not once. Now, assume it happens anyway, and that the hyperscalers, all right, the companies big enough to build these data centers by the square mile, really, put in their own turbines on top, all right? You're still 19 gigawatts short. Both solutions running at a record pace. And the gap does not close, okay? The scarcity that can't be relieved isn't a bottleneck. It's a toll booth, and it doesn't come down. because a buyer who's paid for his own plant doesn't unwind it. Why should they? When the grid finally offers him a connection, he keeps it and he adds the grid as insurance. So bridges get dismantled. Power plants, they get depreciated. Now we're going to talk about my favorite part, okay? Somebody is going to make an enormous amount of money from this. And I still haven't told you, by the way, who collects. So here's the trap. The obvious move is to buy whatever's visibly scarce, all right? It's how people bought dry bulk shipping at the top of the freight cycle and lumber mills after lumber quadrupled. They were late, all right? And video teleconferencing share, Zoom, the same month. Every American finally located the mute button. So a bottleneck is not an investment thesis. So let's kill the three obvious answers. One, the utility. Biggest demand increase in a century, so buy who sells electricity. I think that's the trade that CNBC prefers between ads for annuities and gold. But remember the pile. A generator owned by a data center's affiliate never enters it, all right? The load arrives. The asset does not. That's one down. Two, the private generators. All right, buy whoever sells the escape. Except, look at what that business has to assemble first. Equipment, fuel, an air permit, water, land, and interconnection. Oh, let's not forget maintenance. Let's not forget a tenant willing to sign a 20-year lease and an answer to who refinanced it all in year 7. That business doesn't merely watch the 4 parties. It has to personally beat all 4. And a thing can be indispensable and still be a bad investment. Ask the airlines. 3, the equipment makers. This is the one almost everybody is watching, okay? And they're holding. GE Vernova signed contracts covering 20 gigawatts of gas equipment in a single quarter. The backlog, the reservations to 116 gigawatts. Whatever generates the electron, it arrives through a cabinet. True, and it stays true. But a backlog is not only a moat, it's also a governor at once. A constrained factory can raise the price, sure. It cannot invoice a transformer it hasn't yet built. And here's the part that kills it. Of that 20 gigawatts, 18 were just what we call slot reservations. Two were firm orders. A slot reservation is basically a ticket to stand in line at the factory, which is a strange thing to find in a story about people who refuse to stand in line. 9/12 of that headline is somebody holding a place. Real information, not revenue yet, and the equipment maker gets paid once when the cabinet ships, all right? And the owner of the building gets paid every month. The customer stays inside it. Builders get paid once. Owners get paid forever. That's 3 down. So, how do you tell one for the other? I spent 6 months going through this AI build out, subcategory by subcategory, silicon, machines, buildings, fuel. The MSCI index carried 622 names at the end of June. And very nearly every one of those goes up if this build out happens. And that's the trap, because Being approximately right about this is easy, and it's worth nothing because most of those 622 stocks won't get and keep what they earn. Anybody can assemble a list, folks. The list isn't the work. So here's the filter that I promised you. It's free, and it actually works on anything. Run it on whatever is in your account when this video ends. 1, position at the bottleneck or 3 suppliers away from it. Revenue that needs somebody else to win the contract, clear the permit, and then remember to order your part is exposure to a theme, not ownership. 2, duration. Does the relationship outlive the shortage that made it? A mobile generator earns spectacular margins while the wait is 7 years. Ask Elon Musk. The landlord collecting rent from the building that it powers now may still be collecting in 2046. One sold the escape, the trailers. The other owns the destination. 3, owner earnings per share, not revenue, folks, not adjusted EBITDA, whatever that is, where a great many sins go to receive a fresh blazer. Per share, after tax, after maintenance. 4, reinvestment. Can the next dollar earn above the cost of capital without the share count eating your own stake? 5, survivability. Does it get through a bad year without a rescue? Because, folks, there'll be a canceled campus. There'll be a recession and a chief executive explaining that a $3 billion impairment was non-cash, as though shareholders had paid in monopoly money. But that happens all the time. And a shortage makes a lot of companies busier. It makes very few better. 3 names cleared, all 5 of those, just 3. Not one makes a turbine. Not one sells a molecule. Not one appears in a single photograph of this build out. One owns the room. One owns 20 years the customer does not have. And one owns the entire argument all by itself. You just got the filter free. What it removed is behind the wall. 619 names that it virtually killed and are gone, leaving 3 that compound. Now, how could I be wrong? A filter that only points one direction is worthless. So announcements are free. Molecules are not. Remember that. That is a funnel. 92% of it is intention, not concrete. And nobody knows which 92%. And the 18 of 20 ratio, well, apply it to every big number here, including mine. So here's the number that makes me wrong. By the 31st of December of this year, on-site gas capacity, operating plus physically under construction, should be above 15 gigawatts against 2 operating and 7.5 that are building today. So under construction means foundations poured, not a permit filed with the county, not a gentleman standing next to a shovel taking a picture. 15 gigawatts, the 31st of December, 2026. If it doesn't get there, then I was wrong. And I wrote it down, and I'm saying it now in public. So either one of us can pretend later. So that's the date. Mark it down. Oh, let me tell you one more thing. The NERC keeps the North American grid reliable. It issued a rare level 3 alert computational loads had dropped 1,000 megawatts in seconds. All right. And the alert came with serious homework, 33 questions apiece, due at midnight on the 3rd of August, answered by the people who keep your lights on. All right. Describing in very technical detail how badly America's biggest new loads are actually behaving. Now, you can't read them. There's no public docket. I can't read them either. An internal alert system, aggregated, anonymized, on no announced schedule. This video opened with a federal filing anybody could have read, and almost nobody did. It then ends with one nobody outside the industry can read at all. Remember the word I told you to hold. A clerk was obligated to stamp that first form. That's the only reason you ever saw Elon Musk's name. Nobody is obliged to show you this one. That one was never for you.